There's a lot of decisions you have to make when you have a baby. And the one that I feel the most comfortable and safe making is using Huggies for our daughter, River. The new Huggies Skin Essentials are here. A brand new dermatologist-approved line of diapers, wipes, and pull-ups training pants are all designed with baby's sensitive skin in mind.
Their wipes have 0 harsh ingredients for a great, gentle clean.
The Skin Essentials diapers features the Skin Protect liner, which is what helps take care of the ick and stick that can cause rash.
Their whole diaper helps protect against the top 2 causes of rash by managing moisture and runny mess. Pull-Up Skin Essentials has got your big kid covered too with a training pant that is ultra soft and breathable to help protect sensitive skin throughout potty training. Learn more at Huggies.com. Once again, head to Huggies.com to learn more. Manscaped linked if you haven't purchased a Father's Day gift yet. Yeah, well, we thought so. Well, today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Our friends at Manscaped have crafted the total package for his special day. Whether it's for the boys downstairs, his beard, or even the best pair of underwear out there, Manscaped has his bases covered. Introducing the face shaver that's a must-have for a smooth finish. The Manscaped Handyman, powerful and compact. This face shaver isn't just for home use. It's perfect for the quick touch-up on the go. Its precision blades ensure a clean shave every time, making it an essential tool for any dad's grooming routine. If a man in your life rocks a scruffier beard, then look no further than the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the ultimate beard maintenance kit. This all-in-one kit includes the Beard Hedger, Manscaped's most advanced beard trimmer, along with shampoo, conditioner, oil, and balm for his beard. It also comes with a brush, comb, and scissors so you can style his beard and mustache just like a true gent. Also this summer, just around the corner, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the perfect gift for him. It features the signature Lawnmower 5.0 for all his grooming needs. And like I always say, ladies, if he doesn't have a grooming kit of his own, he's almost certainly using yours, and that's gross. So stop letting that happen and get your man some Manscaped today. Head over to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code VIALL. From daddy to zaddy, trust Manscaped. Again, head over to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with code VIALL. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, joined by the household, well, at least some of the household. Sierra is still in Paris, France, getting her croissant on. We didn't tell her to go to that chicken place. We should have done that.
We can text her and still tell her. How long is she there for?
How long is she there?
She might
not be in Paris anymore.
I was going to say she's traveling, so somewhere else maybe.
Oh
I think she started in Paris.
Is it another European summer?
For like the people of America?
Yeah, like last summer, everyone and their mother was in Europe.
Were they?
No?
I don't.
I feel like every summer is...
I felt like when we went, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
I felt like that was everyone. I felt like everyone was there.
Maybe just every
Is
summer.
Is that every
honestly.
summer?
I was working at Trader Joe's in Culver City.
So you weren't
Have you been to Europe?
I haven't. I'm like,
is that a have or have not?
I'm the quintessential American that's been to almost every state in the U.S. but never left the country.
What state have you not been to?
One of the Midwest ones that I don't know.
Wisconsin.
Maybe.
You don't know if you've been to Wisconsin?
Well, here's the thing. So I used to take a lot of trains. So I've taken trains across the country. So I've been through states.
So you're pretty sure you've been to a lot of them, but you didn't really take them all in.
For all I know, it's just a field of Alabama, but.
Like you've flown through the Houston airport, but you've never been to Houston.
Yeah, but I feel like taking a train is different than flying, you know? Because I was actually in the state for like a good...
You do get to do some sightseeing on a train, for sure. You're like, oh, look, a field. Yeah. It's definitely more than better than flying over a state.
Yeah. I mean, the train ride across the country was 3 days.
I mean, if someone is counting flying over a state as visiting that state, they need psychological help.
I feel like the train is kind of the same.
Through...
Well, because you're just driving through it. So, like, can I say that I've been to...
Yes.
Like...
If you drove through,
Nevada?
So there's driving through, there's taking a train, I guess there's bus, but bus is driving. Then flying over... I think they're very different.
I think it depends if you stop.
Yeah,
if there's
I would
a pit
agree.
stop.
I would agree.
So
if there's no pit stop, you can't claim it. If
Exactly.
you pee, it counts.
If you pee, you get a lunch, you stop in the downtown area, you have been to that state. But if you're just driving through, no
If you're
stop,
driving through and you take like the side roads through a small town and you're like,
so
look, they have a Dairy Queen.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, you have to
count that.
stop at that Dairy Queen for it to count. If you get pulled
Side
over
roads?
by a cop,
What
that
if you
counts.
pull?
you don't even take the main roads?
I say you
Well,
have
the
to
freeway.
step onto
If you're on the
ground.
freeway, then like I could see that you're not part. You didn't visit because you're just on the freeway or the highway or whatever you want to call it.
Well, why would you be pulling over just to drive by a Dairy Queen?
Well, I'm just saying some people take the scenic route.
I've been there. I've done that.
For places. You know,
Sometimes
they take the country roads.
Sometimes on the 5 going north, it's like foggy and you can't do that. So
I think you have to physically step down. Your foot has to touch the ground.
So you could be driving through the great state of California and pointing out all these landmarks and seeing them, but if you don't get out of your car, you haven't been there?
I'm with Nick on this one.
Okay, no, that is different.
If it's like a specific like
if you're doing
trip.
Yeah, if you're doing a like let's drive through California, but if you're like let's go cross country and you're just taking like all you see is woods.
You go from California to Wisconsin. And we drive through Denver, and we see some mountains, and I don't know, like some kind of landmark.
You're gonna start telling people like, yeah, we went to Denver.
And then they're gonna be like,
drove through Denver.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be like, oh, what meals did you get there? Like, what restaurants did you? And you're like, none. And they're gonna be like, what?
But you've been in Denver.
That's what.
Okay, wait,
it might require like, hey, listen, I've very briefly, like for example, I went on one cruise with my dad.
You can't count all the islands you passed.
No, but like we went to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands.
You got off the boat.
You got off and did an excursion.
For like an afternoon, I sat on the beach of Jamaica and ate chicken.
That for sure counts because then they're like, what'd you do?
How does that count more than me driving through like North Dakota?
You've had the local Jamaican food.
I'm with you, Nick. I think it's a time thing because I think if you're taking a flight and it's like you're in the state for like 5 minutes, that doesn't count. But if you're driving through California or here for like a day, like even if you don't step out of the car, the drive through California has to be like what?
I had a 7-hour layover in Colombia once. Can I say I've been to Colombia?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
You've never left the airport? That's a little different.
Okay, so Danny goes on tour a lot. He drives through America.
Yeah, airport's kind of like almost like in a way like the almost what's like the embassy, you know, like
true.
The American embassy
like territory
is in like a bunch of countries, but technically that's still like the United States, the embassy, because you're still inside the building. An airport's kind of like that. It's like a sovereign place where you're not really in the place that you're in. But driving through or taking a train or a bus where you're actually you're in the elements, so to speak. I don't know. It's a little different than flying over.
Even
or being at the airport.
Even a gas station stop, because every state has different gas stations.
A gas station stop is fair, yeah.
So as long as you pull over and pee.
You have to pull over and be in the state.
Like so kind of like a dog marking their territory.
Yes.
Yeah. Dip your toes in the sand.
Okay. How did we get on this topic?
I derailed that.
How did we get on this topic? You asked about, I don't know.
European summer.
European summer.
Yes. Oh, Sierra. That's Sierra's. Where else is she going?
I think she's going to Nice. That's all I know.
Anyways. Yeah. Well, she's there, we're here, and we do have a lot to get into. Later this episode, or shortly, Genesis Rodriguez is joining us to talk about the Summerhouse breakup we've been all anticipating all season, plus VPR. She's a big Bravo fan. She's currently filming season 2 of Lioness. Have you guys seen that? It's a Taylor Sheridan show. We watched season 1. It's fantastic.
It is really good.
It's like the title is like the show is about like this secret
special ops,
and the Lioness program is like these women kick-ass special agents that like embed into like, you know, behind
like undercover.
Ooh, I love those kind of
in like the Middle East.
And it's Taylor Sheridan, like the writer creator of Yellowstone, 19 whatever year. So she's filming that, but more importantly, huge Bravo fan. She is watching very much Summerhouse. We'll get into it with Genesis, but absolutely full-on team. I understand Carl, and I understand why they broke up, but when we get on, we'll explain why I'm completely in support of Lindsay Hubbard feeling and saying that she was blindsided after watching that breakup. 100%. We'll get into it later, but I don't know what you guys think. Lots to get into. A lot of fallout from the Vanderpump reunion part 3. We are, just for you guys, after watching the Lindsay Hubbard and Carl breakup, we've been referencing Lindsay's interview with us. We're going to re-release Lindsay's episode this week on Wednesday.
I'm excited.
I think even if you listen to it, it's a great re-listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great rewatch if you want to watch it on YouTube. But like it offers so much context, and just like when you go back and forth between what Lindsay said and how she walked, I mean, very, very accurate. She, from her, at least from her point of view.
Yeah, I feel like before, when she was talking about it, we had no context. None of us really knew like what happened in the season, and so we were just like taking her word for what it was worth. And then watching the season, obviously, we were like, in the beginning, we were like, I don't know, like I feel like we're Team Carl. And then now I feel like being able to watch that interview back and hearing everything she has to say, it all makes sense.
Yeah, because like beat for beat, when she's like, well, then I went and talked to my father, and like they showed that, and like, though in the big conversation, obviously, is like, did Carl set her up? And Lindsay obviously feels like she did. Later this week, we have a fantastic week lined up for you. The one and only legendary TV personality Kristen Doty is here with us to talk about all things Valley drama. Really, just her back on TV. We had Kristen here about a year ago talking Scandival. It was very giving.
I
She's
feel
still
like
giving.
she's gonna give us the Valley reunion
that we all
want.
Yeah, that we all wanted. So excited to have Kristen here. And our good friend, Paige Peck, friend of Kristen Doty, will be joining us.
Love her.
Grease the skids, so to speak, she's friends with Kristen.
Oh,
and she's friends with us. It's a lubricant.
I've never
It's
heard
like
this
it's like a
before.
What do you mean?
Grease the skin.
Grease the skids? No? Like
Wait, the skin or the skids?
Skids.
Skids?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like you're greasing the gears. You're loosening things up, like
little WD-40.
Yeah, a little WD-40.
Right.
I know that one.
Okay.
We don't want Kristen to clench up. We want her to. It's a laxative. Paige is a laxative to let the truth flow through and out of Kristen. Pooping.
That's how we manipulate our guests to spill the tea.
Bring their other friends.
Bring their
Just bring
laxative.
We just want them to feel whatever makes them feel the most comfortable. Really, is why we're here. All right, what are we getting into before Genesis shows up? But it turns out the great debate of tampon flushing is still alive and well.
Yes.
The ladies of the Giggly Squad, Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo, continue the conversation starting on the Viall Files. Paige, team Natalie, flushing
Hannah,
tampons.
team me.
Yeah.
And team you. According to Paige, she thinks that, men are gaslighting women into thinking it's not okay to flush them? What is,
You're going to ruin our pipes. I don't know. I've literally, it's just like, I put this on my story and I was like, I obviously have not had a period in over a year, but like when it does come back, I will continue.
When does that come back?
I think when I stop breastfeeding.
We had a pregnancy scare over the weekend.
Oh my God.
Whoa, wait, share?
Well, go ahead.
I was just like nauseous a couple mornings in a row and like throwing up and did not
We thought it was a stomach bug.
I thought
maybe.
I had a stomach bug. I like talked to my mom about it. She was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Mom, the fuck? No." And then I was like, "Oh my God, wait. We did just get back from our honeymoon, as we all know. We all shared about our dirty talk in the
shower.
in the outside
Shower
shower." Nick was
you
like,
also did post a hot tub story recently, so
Oh,
I
right.
did. But that would be way too fast.
True.
And so, anyways, I mentioned in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, what if I'm pregnant? Neither of us slept the rest of the night. And then I woke up and I was like, I'm going to pee on a stick. And
we were nervous. I was holding River. I was like, wait for me. She's like, I'm just going to take this pregnancy test now. And I had to finish River's warming bottle. But I was like, I need to be, because like we were stressed. But it was like, all right, well, if she is in fact pregnant, like I'm thinking to myself, I already failed
The reaction?
to River. I absolutely bombed that. Like,
I don't know your
which I
reaction.
did. It's so funny. So Friday, the 31st, was the year anniversary of me finding out that I'm pregnant. And so I have like where I peed on the stick in the morning, and then I was like, okay, maybe that was just like a false positive. So I got one of the like clear blue, like electronic ones, and I recorded my reaction to that saying pregnant. And then I got so many DMs being like, post Nick's. What was Nick's reaction?
it's terrible.
You've said
It's
this,
so bad. Yeah,
It's
it was so bad.
We were, Natalie's like, I'm gonna pee on the stick, and I'm like, obviously we're very nervous. I mean, we've talked about growing our family, but holy shit, like,
Yes.
forget about me being concerned. obviously Natalie's been through so much. I'm already thinking, oh boy, she's gonna. I honestly was like, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Was the thought because Natalie's doctor a couple I don't know
on my 5-week checkup
was
she was like, do you want to like talk about birth control? And I've never in my life been on birth control, so I was like, I'm not really interested in like putting that in my body. And she was like, okay, well then either you like need to use condoms or Nick has to be so insanely good at his pullout game. And I was like, I think he's pretty good. And
I'm like, we just got married. Condoms? Like that is
that's a good point.
The whole no, you know? And so I was like, I got this.
And then apparently not, because we were like, oh my God.
We were in New York and
that's a little too much detail.
But there was a
Jesus.
There was a moment where I was like,
I just think it was like, that
was close. That was close.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. Anyways, and so we took the pregnancy test and it was very much negative, but
we were nervous.
We were very nervous, and now I will be celibate. So very sorry.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I just can't. I just need some like, you know, if you're not going to get your shit together, then like maybe we just need a couple of.
No, I just needed to regroup mentally.
Right.
Yeah, we got our game on.
Right.
Game is on.
Genesis. Everyone?
Genesis is here.
Oh, Genesis Rodriguez. Let's bring her up. It's Article, baby. Article has it all, man. If you need to upgrade your furniture this season, look no further than Article. Doesn't matter if it's the bedroom, the living room, the dining room, or outside. Article has a great selection of furniture, whether it's mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, and boho designs. It makes furniture shopping simple.
And we know because our house is mostly Article furniture. The Article offers fast, affordable shipping across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, they won't leave you waiting around. You pick the delivery time, and they'll send you updates every step of the way. They're incredibly fast. They have stuff in stock. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Article's knowledgeable customer care team is there when you need them to make sure your experience is smooth and stress-free. I mean, I'll be shocked if you get something, a piece of furniture that you don't like, but just in case you want to exchange it, they make that whole experience painless and effortless. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Zoa, you've got to check out Zoa. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's energy drink Zoa just launched a brand new campaign. It's all about BDE, Big Dwayne Energy. They've got a really awesome new commercial that you can check out at Zoa's Instagram or YouTube channels. Zoa Energy is a better-for-you energy drink with great taste, electrolytes, B and C vitamins, and zero sugar. It's made with caffeine from natural sources to provide balanced energy with no crash. When you drink Zoa Energy drinks, it gives you Big Dwayne Energy, which gives you the swag, confidence, and energy to help you conquer your day. Here at the Viall Files, my team has loved Zoa to give them the extra boost to get through their days. With ingredients that enhance energy levels, Zoa Energy helps my team find the spark and motivation they need to get their job done. They've got 8 incredible flavors like tropical punch, wild orange, white peach, and now frosted grape. My team loves frosted grape and cherry limeade. So get some Big Dwayne Energy and order Zoa Energy today. Available online or at stores near you. Find out where you can find it at zoaenergy.com. And find retailers like Amazon, 7-Eleven, Costco, Circle K, and more. Genesis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. Obviously, we know you're a big Bravo fan, and we have a lot to cover with you when it comes to all things Summerhouse and Vanderpump. But before we do, you're filming season 2 of The Lioness right now. I mean, Nally and I watched season 1. We were huge fans of season 1. Super excited to have season 2 come out. But how's it going? What's it been like? Anything you can tease for us for all the Taylor Sheridan fans out there, all the Lioness fans?
Obviously, I can't say much, but I can say what's been said, which is I play a helicopter pilot.
Hot.
And one of the, so hot. But like, I thought it was getting into like a simulation, kind of learning how to fly a helicopter. But no, the first day they were like, okay, you take over. And I was on the chopper and I was like, oh my God, is this safe? But yeah, so
Wait,
that
so
was
cool.
unexpected and fun, actually.
So it's not like a green screen in like a studio, like you were in an actual helicopter.
Actual helicopter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not on the page. It's one thing, and then when you're doing it, it's like, holy shit.
They're really testing your acting. Yeah. They're really testing your acting skills. Like you're supposed to obviously look like you know what you're doing and you're not scared, and you know, this professional like soldier, special forces helicopter pilot. Meanwhile, I'm guessing trying your best. Did you have to like hide your fear, or like do you have any fear of flying? Because I mean, also like flying in a helicopter, very different than flying in a plane as well. Like the sensations.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Because there's two gauges. There's a lot going on. The pedals. There's two handles that bring you up and down. Anyway, it's a lot of technical stuff. But I was like a natural at it. I guess.
Okay. Of course.
Which was surprising to me. And they were expecting me just to be scared out of my mind and have like nausea when I went up there the first time. And I was just like really cool and I was just flying.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, I guess you can actually do this, and we could actually do some tricks and hover and take off and land and stuff. So the landing's the most difficult, and obviously the pilot next to me takes over for most of it, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm one of those people that when I try something, I want to like be great at it as soon as I try it. So thankfully this worked out in my favor. And now I kind of like, my partner's like, Jen, please, you don't need to become a pilot now. Like it's not.
You're like no, but I can.
No, now that I know that I can, I just want to do it all the time. And like, he's like, please don't fly. We're not going to buy a helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, no, we just get one. I'll fly it to San Diego. It'll be fine.
Yes.
That's awesome.
What in all your experience of all the shows you've done is flying this helicopter one of the more craziest experiences, or did you have any like fun experiences when you're doing Umbrella Academy?
I mean, that's like typical stunts that you get on wires and, you know, like normal stunt work. This is definitely something else. I did boot camp for this. I've been training like crazy. Again, something else that it's now my identity. Like now I like to weightlift and have like split weeks and stuff and dedicate like different body parts to weightlifting. Like it's my identity.
Wow.
But I'm so grateful to this character for giving me that.
Love that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
How long you been watching Bravo, Genesis?
Oh my God. I've been through the University of Bravo. Like it's gotten me through so much in my life.
It's like I graduated, I got my master's, then I got my doctorate.
Yeah. Yes. And for me, I mean, we have really hard days at work and I just want to unplug and not think about things when I get home from work. And really I also see it as a character study. And I even got like a character from the Real Housewives of Miami. I did a character on the show called Neon on Netflix. And I based it off of Alexia and Dr. Nicole Martin. So like basically she like talked like this and it's very staccato like Dr. Nicole Martin, but also like kind of like I'm a star like Alexia. And
I see the Alexia, yeah.
So it just
that was so good.
So it's honestly, I'm just riveted by these characters. I think you can't make that up, and I try to steal from it as much as possible.
Was Housewives your kind of introduction to Bravo?
Yes,
Okay.
It was Housewives. It was Jersey, flipping tables, Judice,
Teresa.
obviously Tree, but the husband, Joe Judice, is like, Tree, who cares? Huh? Who cares? Who cares, Tree? And it was just like, I freaking love these people. I just want to be their friends, and just witness them.
Have you had the pleasure of meeting any of your favorite Bravo celebrities?
I went up to Nene once, and I have been to Sir. I went to Tom Tom as well. I try to, actually, during the pandemic, by the way, this is like my partner and I's love language. We really plan our lives around like what shows are on Bravo. By the way, like we're very serious actors. We love the theater. We love reading. We love like acting out plays and whatnot, but we love Bravo. Just needed to point that out. Like we are serious about our
Listen,
jobs.
we love prestige television too, but at the same time, like you know,
we just love it so much. And so during the pandemic, it was his birthday. Obviously, we weren't doing anything special. So I reached out to like Kyle and Amanda and Luke at the time from Summerhouse. I was like, hey, it's his birthday. Do you mind sending my boyfriend at the time some videos for his, birthday? And they were like, sure, actress weirdo. And they did.
Did you just randomly DM them?
Yeah, this wasn't Cameo?
I did. I slid into their DMs and they actually...
You slid in their DM and asked for a free cameo. I love it.
Yeah, respect.
I did. I did. And then he was like, that was really weird of you, but I'm happy you did that.
Yeah, did he love it? What was his reaction?
He loved it. He loved it. It was Kyle and Amanda and Luke, actually, at the time. So yeah, I try. I really feel so... invested in their lives that I feel like I could reach out to them.
Yeah, you're like, I know you. Well, it works.
That's like that classic fan. It's just like, I just feel like we know each other. It's just like, I know where you live and I know your birth.
I've been inside of your house.
I know what's going on. I know what's going on in your love life. Like, let me give you my opinions.
Yeah.
Well, we are glad that you're full of opinions when it comes to these shows. Let's start with Vanderpump, obviously, because there's so much to get into the Lindsay and Carl fight in the breakup.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, Genesis. But since the Vanderpump reunion has ended, there's been some fallout with the cast, starting with Scheana. Now, what is it, Justin? She's kind of... She's saying that essentially now all of the behavior of Lala and Scheana is producers.
Yes. So she's insinuating that producers told her, like, if we don't get a fight or if the season doesn't go a certain way, then like there's no checks. Like the show will end, you guys will be let go, and then the whole the crew of people working on the show won't get paid also.
Oh my God.
So Scheana's saying, so someone had to bring the show, aka me and Lala came here to bring the show.
Yeah.
Did she say this on her podcast?
Yeah.
Shenanigans, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's heavy, guys, because like, where do we go from here? She threw the producers under the bus?
Yeah.
I feel like, I think it's like a lame thing for her to say. I mean, how can you be a 10-year vet and still blame producers? I feel like if you're a Bachelor contestant on for the first time, you don't know what you're getting into, you show up on set and it's a whirlwind. Even then, I kind of roll my eyes at the blaming the producers, because with Scheana, like again, being the 10-year, how many years that she's doing vet, like again, people always forget, and we say this when we talk about Bachelor. People talk about producers, and even Scheana, when she's talking about producers like this, she's talking about as if it's like 3 evil wizards in a tower. Being like, you must take this, you must talk about this, or you will be out of a job. Like, of course, producers, like a producer's job, by definition, whether they're making a movie or a TV show or a reality TV television show, it's like their job is to come up with ideas to make the show that they're making interesting. So, of course, there's going to be conversations with the entire cast, including Scheana and Lala, being like, hey, listen, you're going to have to make it interesting or we won't have another season. That's just like, of course that was said. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, of course, some version of, hey, what are we going to do this season so that we have something? When season 10 wrapped, Nally and I went to lunch at the front door? Where is it?
Yard.
Front yard. You ever been there, Genesis? It's really good. It's like a executive hangout.
Steakhouse?
No, it's just like it's a nice lunch place in the valley. But we literally ran into Allie, who was having lunch with the Vanderpump producers to talk about next season and like what was her story arc going to be? What was, what did I don't know, like what was the plan? And so producers are always going to be like, hey, we need something. We need some juice. And I just think like at the end of the day, Scheana and Lala and anyone else in that cast, like again, they're literally professionals. They're seasoned vets. And like they're all adults who signed up for it. So I still think it's disingenuous to like at this point at the end of the season be like, well, actually I didn't really like it was the producer's fault. They dangled our jobs in front of us. At least, I guess, to Lala's credit, she's at least owning the fact that she did it for the plot. But I don't know. I'm not for the blaming of producers. I don't know. What do you think, Genesis?
No, I agree with you. You know what really like irks me is like talking about it like the job of it all.
Yeah.
Like the suspension of disbelief, I want to keep thinking that this is what you're doing and you have to, you want to hang out with these people. When we talk about it like it's a job and it's produced, it really takes away from the show for me. I don't know. It's when we talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like Tom Schwartz recently just said this, like talking about Lala. He's like, like I respect that she wants to break the fourth wall, but like so much of her like talking about it as it's a job and making it seem like we're not being our real selves for our reality show is like disingenuous. Yeah. And like that makes so much
ruining
sense.
The authenticity.
Yeah.
We actually we had this argument a while back about like breaking the fourth wall and how we feel about it. And I know it was a mixed bag where some people like to see them break the fourth wall and some people are like, wait, I want to keep that facade alive. I
don't mind it sprinkled in. Like it's 2024. It's not 2014 anymore where it's like, we've used this reference where like, when Vanderpump first came out, you had like Lisa like explaining why she didn't fire Kristen Doty. It's like, we get it. You're making a TV show. Like, it's like WWE trying to pretend it's real wrestling. So, and I'm glad in 2024 they recognize it is a TV show and that these characters have their own podcasts and have social media and are talking about these things outside of the bubble of the show. But yeah, to that point where it's just Lala's whole argument is, well, I had to do my job. To Genesis's point, like takes away, well, then how do you really feel, Lala? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is your real belief?
It went too far.
Yeah. And I do think that I'm glad they kept filming because like we said last week on Going Deeper, when we talked about the reunion part 3, if you haven't listened to it yet, is like, I do think Lala's truth is what it was jealousy. She was jealous that Ariana got the support that she got following Scandal, and she didn't get it from
Randall.
The whole Randall of it
Randall.
all. And that it all comes down to that and less about the job and more about the sympathy that Ariana got versus what Lala got. Yeah. And that was the truth.
But it's always something Lala always kind of oversteps, says something out of line, and then she backtracks and apologizes and is like, oh, I grew. But it's always the same thing. Like, when do you finally learn?
Yeah, she's like, I'm soft now.
I'm soft now.
Like,
no, soft era. Yeah. Exactly. She's still coming for people. And girl, like, to be honest with you, if you are really in your soft girl era, let people be who they want to be. It's not the way that you want things to be done. And that's
a
kind
great
of
point.
like, yeah, that's the reality of things. If she had a problem with the way Ariana handled things, like, keep it to yourself.
I feel like Ariana described, like, in the reunion where she's like, and Lala's like, well, and I just don't understand. She's like, you don't have to understand. Like, I don't understand a lot of things you do, but like, I still respect it. Like, that's what you choose to do. It's not my problem.
Yeah, I don't really know what Lala is trying to mean when she says, I'm trying to be soft and I'm in my soft era. But like, to your point, like Ariana was demonstrating like a gentleness, like a softness of like, hey, listen, these are my boundaries. We talked about it last week. The way she was Ariana was so validating to specifically Scheana, but trying to be validating to Lala too, being like, listen, I get it. Your thoughts and feelings are valid. You're making sense. If I were in your shoes, I would even think how you're feeling. I just don't agree, and that's okay. And it's just so chill and unbothered by the opinion. And Lala's like, no, fucking be more.
She talked about this on Disrespectfully podcast as well. She said, what you say about me, you can think you can think that. I don't care.
Yeah. And now, and again, that to me is, you know, I guess being soft. I don't think, and that's not the same as being a pushover. Ariana wasn't in any way a pushover over the reunion. She stood her ground. She just did it in such a like soft and like unbothered, like, listen, you're going to feel how you feel. Yeah. And just like, you're going to feel how you feel. It's not going to affect me. You have the right to your feelings. And so chill about it.
Yeah, and you can tell that it was authentic. Like, she wasn't just like trying to put on a show of being chill. Like, she actually didn't seem to care. Which was great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be fucking soft, Katie. This is one of my favorite lines of this season. Where I'm curious what you think, Genesis, where I am going to defend Lala. We just had a baby. Leia's pregnant. But some of the audience members are mad at Lala, accusing Lala of, quote unquote, using her pregnancy for sympathy. And they're coming down on Lala and I guess suggesting that's wrong to do.
Like specifically for like part 3 of the reunion where she was like, I'm pregnant, like I can't deal with this, like trying to walk away. But that was after she was like jabbing.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what people are like.
And maybe her timing's a bit off, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like
I use it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like when Nally was pregnant a couple months ago, and anytime we would go to dinner or literally anything that we would like, we were hoping to curry some kind of favor. I was like, baby, show your belly, like look tired, like you know, like you know, like you're really in a lot of
100%.
Yeah, like as
you should. I agree.
Right? I mean, I felt like such a tight window to like for Natalie to kind of just get.
It was honestly like a superpower. I remember me and my mom went to Great White on Melrose, and like the wait was like 45 minutes for a table, and I was like, well, maybe we could just sit at the bar, and they're like, yeah, bars first come first serve. We're like, okay, great. So I'm like trying to get up onto this bar stool, you know, and then there's a guy sitting by himself at a 2-top, and he's like, you know what, I'll sit at the bar, you two sit here, please, like sit in this couch with all of these pillows and get comfortable.
Are you sure?
I'm like, no, it's fine. You already have your coffee.
Meanwhile, you're sitting down. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been using it since before I was even pregnant. Like, can I have the aisle seat? I'm pregnant.
You have feigned a pregnancy?
Oh yeah. I before being pregnant, I have always had bladder issues, and I need to pee all the time. And if I don't have an aisle seat on a plane, I'm in trouble.
So instead of saying I have bladder problems, you're like, pregnant. I'm pregnant.
It is simplified.
Can I sit on the aisle? Can I switch with you because like I'm pregnant and I need
no
to
questions
use the
asked.
bathroom?
Yeah.
I always thought it was gonna like bite me in the ass one day, but
and now you're pregnant.
Wow.
Well, if anyone is ever sitting beside Leia post pregnancy, she asks for that aisle, she's a liar.
That makes me feel better about faking allergies with certain foods that I don't like. You know. Instead of just like saying I don't want this on my sandwich, I just say I'm allergic. Do not put this on.
You'll kill me.
You'll kill me. Which is a bit of a fib.
It's efficient though.
Yeah.
There's no margin of error there because they're like, oh shoot,
we're gonna kill him. Yeah. It's not
you
just
lying about your being pregnant. You're gonna ruffle some feathers in this episode.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate. It's okay.
But you're pregnant now.
Yeah. No, and trust me,
It
I am
cancels
using
each
it
other
now.
out.
Yeah.
I'm using it more than ever.
Yeah, clearly like karma was unbothered by it because they're
knock
like
on wood.
Oh, no. Also, but I do think Lala saying like all I want, and I like totally understand this feeling. I wonder if you do, Leia. Genesis, I'm not sure if you have children, but like, or if you can just resonate with this at all. Her just being like, all I want is to just have my baby and live a good life and like, and sit in my house with my babies. Like, that's all I want. And like, that is such a valid feeling. Like, I remember like anytime you're just like dealing with any sort of outside noise, you're just like, none of this matters. Like, I just want to sit at home with my babies and not give a fuck about anyone else.
Has Lala, to Genesis' point, since the reunion, has she come on any of her lives that she's doing and backtracked anything she said?
She did have a live, but all I know is she talked about something about her.
She said that she backs everything.
She on a live I saw. Did you
something
see
about her?
Someone asked on the live if now that something about her is opened, if
she was
Lala
like, oh, it's open.
was going to go plan and support, and she gave like the best disingenuous answer you can give, like, which is basically saying no. She's like, I never really leave my house. If I'm in the area, I'll stop by.
She was valid
when
for
they
saying
start
she doesn't go to
delivering-
WeHo though. I support that. That's a track sometimes.
Maybe so, but that's not the point, and that's not the question. The question is, are you going to...
it's open.
Yeah, she does.
The question is, are you going to go out of your way to support your longtime standing friends, despite this rift that you have, that you filmed a couple months ago during the reunion? It was like a check-in from the fans to be like, where are you now with your friendship? Is the pettiness going to continue, or are you going to support your friends? Are you going to at least even show up now that it's open? And she's like... She couldn't even just say no. And that's also kind of bullshit. Lala just roasting every one of her castmates about authenticity and keeping it real and like, you know, never like pulling back punches because she's Lala Kent and she doesn't pull punches. She's honest to a fault. This is Lala preaching to us, lecturing her castmates and the audience about her authenticity. And she goes on a live and she's like, no, I'm not going to stop by because I'm not in the area.
She said she would order it for delivery, though. That's
not the point of the question, though. The question is, are you going to go and support your friend's new business that had a hell of a time opening up or not? And instead of saying, no, listen, it's not cool right now. I don't feel like supporting. I'm not going to go out of my way. She made up this bullshit excuse about being like, well, I don't really leave my house. And if I'm in the area, and clearly she's not going to go. She's not going to stop by. We're not going to see any posts in the next week or two of Lala being like, oh my God, somehow about her, something about what? Amazing sandwiches? You know, like something. And she's not going to do it.
I mean, to be devil's advocate, she is pregnant. She lives in the Valley now. I could see, I mean, she did say in the live, like, the food is really good. So she hyped it up in that sense. So I could see that she's like, I'm pregnant. I don't want to get in the car and drive to WeHo.
No,
and as we just mentioned, we support
one stand in like a 2-hour line.
Using your pregnancy as an excuse.
Well, she wouldn't. Listen, I
yes,
am.
We acknowledge that is a valid excuse.
Yes.
If you're pregnant, you can use it.
But it's not keeping it real. And Lala lectured her entire castmates and the audience about keeping it fucking real. And she's the like authentic Vanderpump G who's just like, you know, keeping it real and doing her job. And like now, a week later, she apparently, I guess she's just like, the job's done. And now she's back to like just kind of giving excuses to why she can't support her friends. I don't know. It's just like, you know, either you're keeping it real or you're not.
Yeah.
Do you think this current cast can film together anymore?
Well, it kind of leads us to the next, like, well, Ariana did go on disrespectfully, and they were talking about, I'm curious about this, Genesis. What did you think of the show dropping that like last couple minutes of the season and surprising the rest of the cast with moments they haven't seen before? Apparently, Ariana went on disrespectfully and felt like that was an attack on her specifically. Like it was the producers setting Ariana up and basically entrapping Ariana to finally give her get the sound bites.
The moment that they wanted in the finale.
Yeah. She said retaliation, which is a very specific
kind of a
word.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a strong, yes, for sure. But I do think that is what they were after. They were after some sort of emotional reaction. I mean, I was emotional looking at them growing up on camera and, you know, having all those mistakes and whatnot. It tugged at my heart. So of course I would imagine it would affect them, and it did, but I mean, it was pointed, I do feel, towards her.
For sure.
And that's valid because they didn't get what they wanted from her. So they got something. They got something they could hold on to, which is a reaction. They did get an emotion.
On disrespectfully, she said, "Great, I cried. You happy now?" Like,
well, the honest answer to Ariana's question, as a fan of the show, is yes, I am happy now. Like, and that's what's
yes.
But that's the thing. Like, we love this show, and like, I think we can simultaneously defend Ariana and how she conducted herself throughout the season and specifically at the reunion and be like, that was the most authentic way. And the way she set that boundary calmly and all those things, like that's something to be admired. And I think we can also simultaneously be like, sure, we get it, but like going forward, like we do want to know how you feel. And it's
how you really feel.
Yeah. And we do, like, going forward to film this season, to me, I can totally get on board with Ariana about season 11 and how she conducted herself, assuming that for at least Ariana, this is her finale. This is her exiting the show. Because if she maintains this stance and still says, well, I want to be back for season 12 and I want to be part of this cast, which I actually don't think she's going to do, then it kind of doesn't make sense. Then it's like you put a bow on your feelings. Your feelings, your most honest feeling is to set these very rigid boundaries with part of the cast. And that makes sense to complete the story of Scandival. But going forward, it's just like, you know, as a fan of the show, we need you to make the TV. And so, like, I see both sides. For me, it's just like, I hate the producer's argument because, again, they're just literally doing their jobs. We're talking about hundreds of people who work on a show. And like for example, I know that like there was a soundbite. I heard from an inside scoop, so to speak, that there was a soundbite that even us and the rest of Bravo Nation very much gave Scheana a hard time about saying. And it was part of, and I'm not going to say which one, but it was one of her many sound bites. And it was one of those in the ITMs that she said. And I know that was a line fed by a producer. But like when they're filming this show and why
won't you say it?
Because I don't want to I got to protect my source. It doesn't really matter. Think of all the million things that Scheana said. It was one of those things.
You're saying the producers were using Scheana to make a statement?
Not even that. I guess I'm trying to explain when I bring this up, not to like, you know, start a conspiracy theory, but more like, you know, give a little like BTS in terms of how the sausage is made. And so like there's when they are doing those confessionals and like, you know, they're all wearing generally the same outfit because they'll go in like one Saturday and do quote unquote pickups for maybe the entire season or like a block of episodes. And do you think like Ariana and Tom and Lala and all these cast members like remember, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things they said and all the drama. So no, the producers will have these notes, right, of each of the scenes and like they're working and the cast will literally be like, what do you want me to say? Like, give me a line. And the producers, each producer has their job. You know, there's executive producers, there's low-level producers,
field
and if you're field producers, and part of their job might is to literally come up with like funny one-liners or things they could say or should say to like, you know, get a laugh or some comic relief. And like the cast is inviting of these comments. At no point is it in their contract where they have to say it, where they're required to say it. Now, maybe these jokes may or may not land. And I don't think these producers who come up with these sayings, they're not thinking, how can we destroy Scheana and make her look bad? No, they're just, it's a producer who shows up for a job and thinks to themselves, I think this is funny. They don't even know if this is going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's this one individual person. It might even be their first time on the job. You know what I'm saying? They might have gotten hired last week and they didn't work on season 9, 10. You know what I'm saying? It's not like this vendetta where they're like these producers take sides. You know, they might be interviewing Scheana one morning and then in the afternoon, they're doing the same thing with Katie, right? Who they might be feuding or something. It's not a personal thing. They're just doing their fucking job. My point is that Scheana was fed this line and thought, yeah, that's something I would say. And then she delivered the line. And my point is Scheana still deserves to get heat for that because Scheana is a 10-year professional who knows what she's doing and was still willing to say it.
I would feel set up though.
Yeah, that's really difficult.
I would feel set up.
If somebody's telling you that you said something and you didn't say it,
she did say it.
Oh, she did say it.
She did say it. So the producer's like, hey, how about this line? And Sheena's like, and then she says the line. And then
she could have been like, no, I don't.
She's like, nah, I don't fuck with that. I don't feel that way. That's a little petty. That's too far.
It's an oopsie, but I would still feel set up. But then also she can't be like, I didn't say it because she said it.
Yeah, she's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, she's not saying she didn't say it. She's just saying the producers told me to say it and they made me say it. But like, they don't make you do anything. They have some producers who go in and like, there's plenty of times where what I always say on this show when it comes to reality TV stars, none of the you never hear like one of these personalities being like, honestly, that wasn't me. The producer made me say it. When it's like a line where everyone's like, that's a fucking iconic line. We love you for that. Yada, yada, yada. There's so many of those moments where they probably didn't come up with that one either, but they're not going out there and being like, honestly, I'm not that funny. The producer gave me that line. You know, I'm not that savage. you know, when they get the credit, they take the credit. When they get the criticism, they try to pass it on to the producers who are just like literally listing out funny one-liners that they hope like these, you know, cast of 10-year seasoned professionals hope they take the bait. So I think it's bullshit when someone like Scheana, who's been doing it forever, suggests that like she was set up to do it. It's just like, you know what you're doing. You know how the audience is going to take this shit.
I think that if Vanderpump gets canceled or ends here, it's not going to be because of anything that Ariana did or any lack of authenticity, because I think she was incredibly authentic the whole season. That's my opinion. I think that it'll be because of this now line in the sand between Lala and Scheana and Katie and Ariana.
Yeah,
because that to me is not as recoverable as Ariana versus Tom.
Genesis, do you think they're going to be back or not? What's your gut tell you?
No.
I agree.
No. I think Ariana should sail off into the sunset with her endorsements and her other shows and like live a happy life. Katie could still work because she's getting along with Tom and she has something, you know, that riff with Scheana and Lala now. Maybe a mix up, maybe like bring someone back that was like a Stassi or
I think they're going to take the summer off. They're going to film the Valley, and I think they have I think they're going to try to get Ariana back, right? I think they're going to try because they kind of have to, in a sense.
Yeah.
You think so?
It's one of those things where I think Bravo and the producers, I think they're Team Tom, because at the end of the day, I think they're Team Tom because they like working with Tom. Tom likes to do his job. From like just a showing up to work kind of standpoint, like Tom's easier to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like from a fan standpoint, we're all like Team Ariana, but like objectively speaking, the show is probably tired of working around Ariana's very busy schedule. And so I think they just enjoy working with Tom. I think they're going to try to get Ariana back for like, because she's just so popular. And I think they're currently right now taking the time right now between what they would normally be filming to like basically find a replacement. So that replacement might be like Tom's new girlfriend. I'd watch that.
I think they already broke up.
I'd watch that too.
They already broke up?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No. Are you serious?
I don't think they... Did you say something?
It was like after Watch What Happens Live.
Well, I don't...
Well,
like,
we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened.
Because that's where Billy unfollowed, right? There was...
Well, maybe it's Schwartz's new girlfriend. I don't know, but I would absolutely watch the two Toms bring in their new girlfriends, younger girlfriends. That's gonna clearly like ruffle feathers for the rest of the cast, and Lala eating up these like
I don't know,
these Bambi-eyed girls.
Yeah, I think
bitches.
You don't think they're? Oh, I'm down for that drama. I think they're gonna at least try. Whether it lands or not, there is no way. Their ratings are too high and too good. There's no way they're not going to try to make a season 12.
Who would you all rather see a spinoff of?
Oh, yeah.
Because we have groups of twos, essentially.
Yeah, you have the two Toms who are like a united front. You got Katie and Ariana, something about her. You have Lala and Scheana. Between those three pairings, who would you want to see a spinoff? If that was your only option?
I kind of love Lala.
Yeah.
I have no reason. I just love Lala. Like, she's pretty. She has like the sound bites.
I mean, Lala and Scheana might be the best
I think
TV.
Lala and Scheana. Because I don't think Katie and Ariana would really fight that much. I feel like they're just like two good friends. Tom and Tom have each other's back too much.
That wouldn't work out.
They wouldn't turn on each other.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be just, they would have to build an ensemble cast around these two main characters, whoever the main characters were. But
yeah, I would say Lala, Scheana.
What about you, Genesis?
I sometimes hate watch things. So
it's valid.
It would be the Toms.
Oh.
I would hate watch the Toms.
I think the Toms would be good.
Yeah,
just because of who they're dating, because I just want to know who would date them. So
yeah,
just for that.
I say Ariana and Katie.
That's because you're a loyal producer of
No, also like something they're like doing so much.
I don't want them to be on reality TV because I don't want their relationship to get ruined. Like, that's my take.
But again, there would be a whole ensemble. I don't know.
I want to see Lala turn on Scheana.
I want Lala and Scheana.
They're close.
I want Lala and Scheana on the Valley.
What do you mean they're close?
That's a great call. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen. Yeah.
I think that's their next direction of their lives. I think Lala as having this baby, it gives into like the family of the Valley. I think seeing like her fight with Jax and her fight with Kristen and her then her meet these new people. Like I feel like she won't get along with Janet very well, and I feel like
not at all.
Not at all.
I think she's gonna come after Nia.
I don't think anyone can come after Nia.
I think she would, because she'd be like, "You're not drama.
Disengage.
You're hiding the drama." Especially on this past episode of The Valley where we found out that Nia kind of like pulls Danny out of situations when he gets too drunk or goes too far. She would hate that.
Yeah, when they did that call, I never really recognized that she did that. And then when Jason said it and they did that callback,
So smart.
It was it's pretty interesting how she's like, "Oh, my babysitter just texted. She's got it. We have to go right now."
Have you
guys done that before? Have you guys done that before?
Oh my God, yes.
It's similar to the pregnancy thing.
We started doing it when we got Jeff. As soon as we got a dog, it was immediately like, "Oh, we got to go let our dog out. Sorry, we got to go."
But not to like bail the other person out. Like she does it because Danny's drunk and she's embarrassed of how he's gonna act and how it's gonna like ruin their look on TV or what he could say or what they. I think that's why she does it.
But if we were dumb enough to say yes to doing, say, The Valley, I would absolutely support us doing that for each other.
Like a safe word.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But to your point, I think Lala is a professional. I mean, all these Vanderpump. That's why I love Vanderpump so much, because we're talking about professionals. Like they're professional TV makers. Like I think we sometimes have to like. I know we love the authenticity and we want to keep us in the blind, but like they do deserve credit as being like seasoned professionals, like good at their job in a weird, bizarro way. Like
producers,
like Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz's willingness to, do what they do and take
just no shame whatsoever.
And, no shame in knowing that it's part of the gig to let people do what we do and talk about them in a way that like might be hard to listen to. Is like shock. I mean, they're professionals. Like it's part of the gig. It's like being a professional athlete. Like you put yourself up. You have there's a lot of rewards that come with it: the fame, the money, and the attention. But like being a professional athlete can be very brutal when you lose the big game, you miss the shot, and people are the DMs. Speaking of not to derail, but did you guys been following the whole Caitlin Clark saga over the weekend? Are you familiar with what's going on?
The shoving?
Yeah, like Caitlin Clark, who's now in the WNBA, and like obviously she like took over, college basketball. There's, the ratings for the college basketball games through the roof. Ever since Caitlin Clark has been a part of the WNBA, like literally it's changed the landscape of the WNBA. They're now like taking chartered jets and getting like the entire league is getting treatment they've never gotten before. But like as all these leagues are, like the rite of passage, they fuck the other players fucking hate her. They're beating the shit out of her. Like they are like these they're like these fouls, like they're literally like clotheslining her. Like she got body checked, like, and these players are just like they're beating the shit out of her. And like I don't know, just fans of sports are why?
Yeah, because it's like she's kind of like changing the game for all of them.
But there's
like
competition for them, so
they're
they hate the attention.
Let's take out the.
She's the Ariana of the WNBA.
No, it's like I'm like no. Caitlin Clark is making the WNBA like relevant for the first time. Because it's like she's
that would be
making
better for everyone.
No, totally. But what's fascinating, it's like a new reality TV television show. They're not like. Everyone's following it for the drama now because it's like they're like bulldozing Caitlin Clark and like in this argument of like she gave him all these gifts of these chartered flights and things like that. And you're right, and it's like the drama of these players who are like hate the attention she's getting, and like this rite of passage where like you're a rookie, and so the rookie hazing of all this, and it's like this kind of like I'm invested in the WNBA for the drama.
Yeah, Justin, you're right. She kind of is the Ariana of the WNBA.
No, literally, she's the Ariana of the WNBA. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all in.
Nutrafol.
Love it.
I cannot say enough amazing things about Nutrafol.
She literally doesn't stop talking about it. It's honestly a little much, but I do know she loves it. And honestly, it's been really good for our shower drains.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding. I am one of those 1 million people. I took it before I got pregnant, and now I am taking the postnatal for postpartum hair shedding. Nutrafol supplements support healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism as they evolve throughout a woman's life. With Nutrafol, building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, free shipping, and automated deliveries ensure you'll never miss a day. See results in 3 to 6 months.
Get results you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code TheViallFiles. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code TheViallFiles. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code TheViallFiles. Summer brings warmth, but it also brings surprises. And with Vessi, get ready to enjoy the season to its fullest, no matter what it throws your way. Embracing every splash with Vessi's technology ensures you stay cool, comfortable, and stylish from city walks to beach escapes to spontaneous travel adventures.
Vessi has a wide range of great products. Nick has the Weekend Sneaker, which is your go-to for any and every activity, whether it's a beach day, a city adventure, or a casual hangout. The Weekend Sneaker is all about versatility and comfort.
For all you sneakerheads out there, the Stormburst comes with the extra traction feature, ensuring you're prepared for those unpredictable slushy surprises on your summer explorations.
They also just launched a Westerly coat jacket.
Love. I have. It's amazing.
Perfect for those days when the weather just can't make up its mind. It's easygoing. It's versatile. This waterproof jacket has got you covered, rain or shine. That's the thing that I think we need to stress about Vessi. It is not water resistant.
It's
waterproof.
Yeah, we love Vessi. Their shoes are 100% waterproof. It's perfect for anything like city walks, adventures, hikes, travel. It's the only thing you will need on any trip you have. Plus, their Westerly jacket is not only waterproof, it's super water stylish. Remember, ready to embark on the ultimate summer adventure? Dive into excitement, embrace the thrill, and create unforgettable memories. Visit Vessi.com/VIALL to find the perfect blend of style and practicality in shoe designed for urban getaways and enjoy an instant 15% off your first order at checkout. Summerhouse.
Yeah.
Summerhouse.
We finally got the scene.
We finally got to see the fight.
Oh, boy.
Genesis, before we get into it, like, what was your, I guess, as we watch the season, there's been a lot of like peaks and valleys when it comes to like Carl and Lindsay of like, obviously we had the pleasure of interviewing Lindsay over the summer, kind of sharing her truth about the breakup. And then we watched the season unfold, which early on was a lot of us being kind of like shocked at Lindsay's behavior because it seemed like she was weaponizing Carl's drinking against him. And she
Correct.
received a lot of criticism for that. As the season played out, I think more and more people, including us, certainly me and Natalie, started empathizing with Lindsay a little bit more. And this all culminated into like this fight and this breakup, which it seems like the big discussion about the fight, which is one, did Carl set up Lindsay? Like, did he know that he was going to break up with Lindsay? Carl's denying that, acting like, well, I didn't know. I was really hoping to turn things around.
Bullshit.
Okay.
I agree.
And the second argument is, does Lindsay have the right to feel blindsided? Because we've all had the benefit of watching this season unfold. Even her castmates have watched them fight the whole season. And the argument is like, well, how can you blindsided? You clearly know that you've been fighting with your partner. So how are you blindsided by Carl breaking up with you when clearly the relationship had problems? But actually, watching it back, I kind of see Lindsay's side. But here, anyways, Genesis, you chimed in. You said bullshit. What are your thoughts having watched the breakup? Where do you stand on Team Carl, Team Lindsay? Do you think it seems like you don't think Carl was telling the truth? And where do you empathize with Lindsay, and how do you see the fight playing out?
Okay, so I'm team no one here. They were not right for each other. It's obvious. It's really sad to see because you can see from the beginning just the resentment building up within this couple. And you just see the deterioration of the couple and specifically coming from Carl, how much resentment he had. I mean, rightfully so, when we saw them in the beginning of summer, that what she did, weaponizing, his sobriety, or she was questioning it. Now, the breakup, being on camera, I just have specific thoughts about that. I do feel like he was protecting himself more by doing it on camera, just to make sure, like, hey, I don't want Lindsay to twist this, so let's have it on camera. And instead of maybe respecting not just the 2-year relationship that they've had, but the 8-year relationship, friendship that they've had, where he could have taken her aside and said, this is not working anymore. I love you, but this is not working anymore. And have the blowout be the blowout and in the privacy. But we did end up getting it. So I'm grateful that he took this and said, we need to shoot this because we got the story. But I do think I can see where she was blindsided, but I do also think she was blinded. She had blinders on throughout the whole season of Summerhouse.
Yeah, I think you make an excellent point. I think you almost have to separate it into your opinion as a fan, and then you're dissecting the breakup as like human to human, like the human experience. Like as a fan of the show, Carl did his job and we're grateful. Like,
yes.
Like we're grateful we got to watch this fight and see it play out on camera rather than hear about it and be like, oh man, I wish we got that on camera. Like you can't deny as a fan of the show, you're glad Carl did that. But like on the human side, it seems so fucked up, you know, that despite them being reality TV professionals, that Carl chose his job over like his fiance. And, you know, maybe soon to be ex-fiance. Like, I don't know how you can be team Ariana on for the reunion and be team Ariana and say, hey, listen, she has the right to enforce this boundary. This is her most authentic self. These are real, genuine feelings. And yeah, sure, she's supposed to film a TV show, but like Ariana was the most real. I don't know how you can be team Ariana and not be team Lindsay in this moment, because if you've ever had a breakup, forget about ending an engagement. Like Lindsay, in her mindset, isn't like we've been having problems. Her mindset is I'm getting married in 2.5 months. And Lindsay, we know, right or wrong, has that fighter mentality, that fixer mentality of like, hey, you fight, you work through it, you get over it, you go to couples therapy, yada, yada. So despite all their problems, to be brought into an environment where there's cameras and then mid-argument, you realize, being the professional that she is, you realize the setup's on. And you realize, holy shit, this is a breakup. I'm being broken up with here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like you can watch it in her face when he's like on a fucking roll and he's like saying all of these things that she's done, and you called me a little pussy and you called me this and you said this about me, and
Receipts.
She's like, yeah, he's like pulling up all this literally, and she's like, whoa.
It was a venting session. Like Carl keeps saying, he's like, I didn't bring Lindsay here to break up with her. I brought Lindsay here to like once again try to get on the same page, which I think is total
lie
bullshit. I think Carl, it's like I think Carl believes it too. I think he's convinced himself, because I think what the real truth is, I think the truth is he gave Lindsay one more chance to be soft. He gave Lindsay one more chance to come in there and give his speech about like, I need this from you. I want this. And knowing deep down in his heart that she was never going to do that. But he was, you know, he said
that. He said that in the after show.
That's what I'm saying. But he's like, he's acting like that was him giving her a chance. He knew she wasn't going to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so disingenuous to say, I was trying to get on the same page, and tell himself, I'm going to give her one more chance to finally, like as if Lindsay was going to come in there finally after all their conversations to be like, you know what, Carl, I finally hear you. You know what? I'm just like, your ideas are so great, and I'm just going to support you. And like, honestly, like non-alcoholic Bev, like, let's start a bar. Let's do it tomorrow. Like he knew deep down she was never going to do that. So it's so disingenuous to say that he wasn't going to break up with her, because you also don't get an entire group of like cameras and audio and producers for them to like have another chat. Mm-hmm. They knew there was a 50-50 shot, 50. Whatever, a high percentage shot that this conversation was going to end in a breakup. And it's like, to say anything else is very disingenuous, borderline a lie.
Also, like the meetup with Kyle beforehand.
Yeah.
Right. That's the dead giveaway.
Yes.
That was going down. But can we just give Lindsay some props? I mean, in the last conversations with Carl, she was so not activated. Like, she was like calm.
Yeah. She was very calm.
She was not reactive. She was communicating her feelings in the most mature way I've seen her do it. I'm like, that's pretty soft for Lindsay, as Lindsay gets, you know?
No, yeah. She was soft but still stood her ground, which is kind of like, well, what do you want me to do? You're literally...
You made the decision.
Well, no, yeah. With Carl's point, she's like, you're asking me to overnight become someone I've literally never been.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment you've known me, before we've ever even got together, before we were romantically involved, we were just friends. The person I'm being now is who I've always been. And you're telling me to what? Act like I'm doing something wrong all of a sudden and that you can't be with someone who like is literally the core of who I'm at? Like, imagine what that's like for someone like Lindsay to hear in this moment where like Lindsay's hearing change everything about you or I can't be with you. Like, and how does that not feel like a blindside?
I also think like recording conversation we need to discuss.
Yes.
I thought it was so interesting how she's like, I brought out my recorder. I didn't press record, but then he brought out his and he starts screaming, stop yelling at me, Lindsay, stop yelling at me. And she brought that up on the after show. And then he never said anything about it. He never addressed the fact that even in the conversation with Lindsay on the couch, she's like, you start manipulating the tape. He does not say anything. He doesn't discredit that. He doesn't say why he started screaming, stop yelling at me, Lindsay.
The accusation is wild which Lindsay...
Well, he says it in this episode, the recording.
No, I know.
No, but he doesn't like specify anything.
But Lindsay's accusation of saying that Carl brought out the recording and as soon as he hit record,
he was a different... It was...
Well, not only that, but he threw out an accusation in like to start the recording of like, well,
stop yelling at me, Lindsay.
I'm
stop
driving.
At me.
Stop yelling at me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't have the yelling, but Carl wanted to like get it on record that Lindsay was yelling to start off this recording, which is kind of fucked.
Out of context. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also makes you just be like, if he's capable of doing something like that, like what else has he done? We've seen little snippets of his anger like come out where he's like, what did he say to her?
Suitcases is what got me.
No,
that's a lot. He's like, that's a lot.
Well, yeah, that's a lot. And then he also
aggressive.
And then he also said to her, like, you think I'm going to relapse? I think you want me to relapse.
It's funny how Carl, he keeps saying this really the past few episodes, he keeps accusing Lindsay, specifically in this breakup, he accuses Lindsay of playing the victim, all while he's simultaneously playing the victim. When he's breaking up with Lindsay, it's just again, he's like unloading on Lindsay. You've done this to me, you've done that, you haven't done this. It's just like, how can you accuse someone of being the victim when you are literally having attack after attack after attack of how they're wrongly behaving?
It's like an explosion of resentment that you see. He mentioned the ring. There was a fight where she gave him back the ring. Mm-hmm. And since there, I think it's what started like the deterioration of that breakup. But also like when you go to your parents, when you're having issues in your relationship, that's the kiss of death to the relationship. Like that's it. It's done. There's no going back. 100%. Your parents will have an opinion.
And they'll have your back.
And they're always going to have your back. And they're always going to have that and hold that against your partner. And it's kind of impossible to move through that. So I don't know what he was thinking when he did that. Maybe that's when he was like, I need someone to tell me to get out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And ultimately he did get that.
Because like, I think we also like, kind of like you said, Carl, I made the healthy choice of ending the relationship. Like we empathize with Carl why he wanted out, you know, and Carl has the right to be out of this relationship. And I do think it's such a fascinating discussion just in general, the relationship, because like when you're watching Carl and Lindsay talk, it's hard, whoever you are, not to have an opinion. And usually in that opinion, someone kind of like, do you side with Lindsay or Carl between like, you know, like I'm curious, like when you're watching it, you know, for all the conversations we have about like wanting men to be more open and talking about their feelings and their sensitivity, great. But like, it's also hard not to have an opinion watching Carl constantly play the victim and talk about his feelings and insist that Lindsay has to be soft and supportive, because it's such a fine line. I mean, as a man, I will say, like, it's been interesting because like Lindsay also she has this thing with Carl. Like it seems like they've mutually decided in this relationship they were gonna have that eventually Carl would be the breadwinner, and like Lindsay eventually they would have kids, and eventually Lindsay would stay home. And it's kind of, and Lindsay's argument is kind of like, well, if I'm going to do this, you need to fucking step up and do it, which I totally get Lindsay's argument. On the flip side, I also kind of get Carl's, where like, as a guy, I'll just say, in a heterosexual relationship, all men want is a cheerleader. They do. They are sensitive. We are sensitive, whether we like to admit it or not. And I think sometimes we do just need a pat on the back. And I do think it's like a fine line between giving someone like support and encouragement and a little bit of like constructive criticism and that pat on the back, which speaks to why they just shouldn't be together, because like they're just not compatible. But I think it is fascinating to see which side you fall on when Carl is just like talking about just wanting Lindsay's unconditional support, because honestly, when watching it back, Carl just kind of seems soft and like incapable. Whether that's a fair criticism or not, it's kind of like, what do you expect Lindsay to do? You know, how
it's been 10 months, right?
Yeah.
10 months of him not having a job. And
yeah, it's just like, how supportive
time.
can you be with someone who constantly has either no idea or bad ideas and no follow through? And, you know, like, how do you blindly just support someone, you know,
and someone you're like about to get married to, and like, that's a big commitment. And like, if, you know, how long is this going to go on for? You know, like, I'm about to marry you and you have no real plan of like your career. And like, I guess the 10 months thing is like, if it had been, yeah, you know, a month of this, 2 months of this, but you've been like 10 months of sitting on the couch, like figuring it out, and you have no plan. You have no idea. You have no, like, you have tons of ideas, but none of which you're like really committed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like, at least from what we've seen, most of these conversations, Lindsay's not just like pulling Carl aside and being like, do you have your shit together yet? Like, Carl is approaching Lindsay with these ideas, and she's just asking questions.
I've said this before, and I know you don't agree. Like, he smiles in every conversation he has with Lindsay when he's grilling her. So like, I read it as like, he has enjoyment, and maybe this is the resentment part, that he has some pleasure in like grilling Lindsay in all these conversations.
It's just sometimes I just know people, when they feel awkward, can throw like a facial expression that doesn't necessarily represent the emotions they're feeling inside.
Yeah, like I have a friend who will laugh at a funeral.
I as a kid,
I might do that, by the way.
Yeah, it's just like when you're uncomfortable or nervous, like you just
every once in a while when I was a kid, when we'd really fuck up, my dad would lose it, right? And there were a couple times my dad would like get in our faces and yell, and like kind of yell at us. And there were a couple times where we would just start laughing and be like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "I don't know," like, you know, and like,
I get that
can happen.
I get that, but it's like, if he presented every conversation to Lindsay and he was always smiling while also always grilling her, and I think in context of like the luggage when she didn't want to be in the same car, and he's like, "So you're gonna make me drive alone, but take your luggage back," while smiling. Like, that was like a manipulative thing to me.
I agree. I think, speaking to their incompatibility, I just think Lindsay is, and I'm not saying this to be a dick, I think Lindsay is smarter and more professionally polished than Carl. And I think they're just not in the same league professionally. And Carl aspires to be more successful professionally. And I think he feels, regardless of Lindsay actually doing it or not, I think he feels emasculated by his partner. And I don't think that's Lindsay's fault. I think that's like Carl, you know, kind of projecting his own insecurities about his own failures as a professional. And because Lindsay has more pedigree and maybe insight and had her own PR company, and listen, she can be rough around the edges, and sometimes her delivery can lack tact. But I think it's more of a Carl projecting his own insecurities onto Lindsay, even despite Lindsay's never been softer. You know, she's literally compared to previous seasons, you know, maybe she still has some work to go, but she's showing progress. And in a relationship, if all you are is showing progress, that you know, it's like, that's what you want. It's just like, hey, I used to do this. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting a lot better. And Carl is just like, no, I want you to be a different person. I am no longer interested in dating you.
Yeah, like where's the line between wanting somebody to compromise with you and then wanting them to change their entire personality?
I think the line is not doing what Carl did, is like what seemingly overnight just decide that you have to like be a different person and no longer be interested in having conversations that include things like, how can we work on this? You know, what are some like tools or exercises we can do? Or like where you validate and recognize your partner, be like, hey, thanks, you know, like I appreciate you having that conversation with me, and I'm glad that we can talk about it now, because in the past you used to just tell me it was stupid, and now you're asking me questions, and that's progress. But Carl's just like done with it, and he's decided to, you know, make Lindsay feel bad about who she is as a partner. And like, again, like I'm just so team Lindsay after watching this episode. And let's keep in mind, this was on camera. She's probably she's in shock.
Yeah. You can see by the end of the scene that she's like hugging the pillow.
Can I just say one point about her talking about their sex life?
Yeah,
that was a bit shocking, and that's emasculating him, you know, in a way. It was too much. It was too much information. And I don't know, that was a bit much for me. Like, if you're not having sex, how are you going to get married? Hello? Am I taking crazy pills here?
No. Yeah, and if you're calling out your partner,
public shaming,
and it just reads different when it's coming from a woman saying that against her male partner. There is like, it like with a woman audience, there's a lot of like, you know, performance judgment and it's
too far.
It's far.
It's too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bravo Nation in general all agrees that they shouldn't be together. And I think, and when you hear the cast talking about it, it makes a lot of sense. I was kind of surprised, even, I know Paige and like Lindsay aren't like besties, but I was kind of surprised that the cast, the conversation they were having right after the breakup was about like they were like, Paige was making a ton of sense. It's like, yeah, he did you a favor. Well, sure, but like, this is seemingly an hour after Carl ended the engagement on camera, and they're like not allowing Lindsay any time for like just to feel shell-shocked.
It's like when you get in a breakup and then you go to your friends, they're like, there's so many more fish in the sea. It's like, that's not what I need right now. Like, I don't need to know about all the other guys that I could be with. Like, I want to talk about the guy that just broke up with me and like how, you know, I understand.
Yeah, imagine like 2 hours after Ariana finding out that Tom and Raquel were cheating on her, that everyone's like, honestly, listen, like, to be honest, Tom Sandoval's kind of a fuck. You were with him for way too long, which we all think now. You know what I'm saying? We're all like team, like,
did her a favor.
We're all team, you're better off. But do you think like 2 hours after finding this out that like Ariana was interested in hearing, like, listen, honestly, let's be real. You're better off here. And that's what Lindsay's entire group of friends were saying to her moments following being like broken up with on camera, not like a summer fling, her engagement.
I definitely think it's 3 against 3. I think it's Amanda, Paige, and Sierra against Danielle, Gabby, and Lindsay.
Yep. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not, I just, for anyone to say that to Lindsay, I guess is my point. It's just like, you're right, but are you really being helpful to point that out to someone in the heat of the moment?
Yeah, I also think the like crying with no tears thing is not fair. Like, I don't know.
God,
I feel like I'm not a crier really. Like when I find out, like,
yeah, but you go, I Like, if you're not gonna cry, that's
you guys.
fine. But like, if you're not gonna have like,
You'd get fired.
it's it's like one thing to like make the facial expressions of crying and have no tears versus just like
Shocked
not
face.
Forcing and then it
not
actually
having
being.
emotion.
So let me ask you this.
that's
Do you
fair.
think two things can be true at the same time? Do you think Lindsay can be shell-shocked, distraught, can't believe that what happened, knowing that Carl chose to like document this breakup and then be forced to film a scene with your friends, be utterly confused and shocked and almost have an out-of-body experience, knowing, being the professional that you are, that this is going to be aired, that people are going to take sides, and knowing that you kind of have to play a role and not literally be able to perform because you are, in fact, in shock.
Shocked.
And
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like, I think we're completely dismissing the human side that
Agreed.
Lindsay was broken up with and expecting her to have like seemingly normal emotions. And I'm just like, if you've ever been broken up with ever, regardless of it being like an engagement or a marriage or finding out you were cheating on in the heat of the moment, I feel like it's hard for anyone to sit there and nitpick and
Yeah, maybe
and
she was
say that
dehydrated.
Lindsay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, Lindsay is definitely a professional. She's a PR, literally so like I think she opens herself up for that type of criticism.
I think she could have just led with like, I'm so confused. I just feel so blind.
Sure.
Like I'm just shocked instead of being instead of the like
Totally.
my best friend. Why would he do that?
No, you're right. I mean, listen, it doesn't
So
land. She's open. She definitely opens herself up for criticism. And listen, maybe I'm a sucker and maybe I'm foolish. I'm just saying I am willing to give her the benefit of the doubt as someone who knows what it's like to feel blindsided and shell-shocked and not be able to process. In that world, Lindsay's life is drastically changing. You know what I'm saying? She went from, I'm going to get married in 2 months to like, I'm going to be a single woman in New York and dating again. And like, my life is forever altered.
Also, I
Yeah.
feel like, and I mean, this would just like definitely cross my mind, but like, it's 2 months before the wedding. And like now, like, I feel like I would be thinking of, holy fuck, I have to tell all of our guests
Yes.
that like the wedding is
Yeah.
off.
She had
We
a
have to put
dress
all these
or-
deposits down. Like, that's where like I would be like,
Yeah. So
that's
she's
where I would
thinking
be.
that.
Yeah.
Plus, she's also thinking about Bravo Nation and how, what side they're going to take.
She
you
still
know?
lives in the same house with them too, the apartment.
Wait, what?
Well, he said
well,
he
at the time.
Right.
Oh.
Well, I mean, at the
Oh.
time. No, so I'm saying so I can understand
When
the
she
shock.
interviewed with us, she was living with him.
Yeah, so not now, but I'm just saying, like, so all this going on, they still live in the same safe space.
But
Or what
he
should
hadn't
be.
been there. When she was on this podcast, he hadn't been there.
No.
Yeah, he hadn't been there,
Yeah.
but technically
They weren't.
they had, yeah.
He hadn't moved out and broken the lease, but he was not like staying in the guest bedroom.
So I'm saying that she had no safe space to like retreat to.
Yeah. Anyways, in the comments, we're curious about, now that we've hashed it, we're going to redrop Lindsay's episode that she came on. I think it's a must listen to. Had you even listened to it before, but if you not, it offers so much context into the mindset of Lindsay. And after watching, again, it play out, her story lines up. Like, at least her side of things. There was nothing about her story on our episode where like, well, wait, you know, it didn't happen the way it happened. I mean, context might be different, but there was no like, ugh, like she wasn't caught in any lies or anything like that. So I think it's a fascinating listen to. Anyways, the Valley.
I think the biggest takeaways from this episode are this extremely weird game they have of dressing up as each other's fantasy. And like, I don't think it was each other's fantasy. I think it was just like what they like.
What would
Like,
you
does
dress up as?
does Danny fantasize about ranch, or does he just
Hot
like really
dogs?
like it?
What would you guys dress up as?
I don't know. If I'm
My
comfortable.
partner's fantasy?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we're going by the Valley's rules, which is like clearly not fantasies, then like a joint.
Oh.
Yeah, a surfboard, I guess.
It's like
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they're not doing like schoolgirl, you know, like they're not doing it
right.
like
Yeah.
classic.
For the record,
Sex.
not my. She's
No,
just
no.
saying
I'm just saying like classic. No. Yeah, no. I'm just saying classic like men's fantasies, but they're doing
Librarian.
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 Thank you. They're doing like hot dog and a bottle of ranch.
Well, it was a little bit.
and-
Outlander seemed to be more of a fantasy.
Yeah.
Or does she just like
Hockey
really
pucks.
like the show? Do you think she's like genuinely fantasizing? Like when they have sex, is she fantasizing about, like, is that not what a fantasy is?
I think some of
so.
them just missed the assignment.
I think they missed the
I
assignment.
think that's what it was.
But also, I think, sometimes people like do literally cosplay, and then
Mm.
some people just like dirty talk.
Please, let's not bring up the dirty talk again. Oh my God. I would do a joint for Nick. What would you do for me?
I would dress up as a cowboy.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's pretty good.
He's giving you the boots.
He's
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
the.
Well, I will
he's
say
been cosplaying a
he's
cowboy.
dressed up right now.
We went to
Yes.
we went to Zach Bryan last night. We saw the concert.
I saw the boots.
Yeah, his girlfriend Brianna is going to be with us for part of Going Deeper this week. I have since I've been into country music, since Natalie's got me into it, like going to a country concert is like my adult cosplay. I get to wear some cowboy boots. Maybe there's like a
But you wear cowboy boots every day now.
fine,
so it's
sure,
not
but
really-
but it's still like adult cosplay. I'm
think
certainly
it's-
not a real cowboy.
think
I'm not
it's-
exactly.
I think it's everyone in LA's cosplay because
Right
that
now.
everyone breaks out their cowboy hats and their boots
Yeah.
and they throw on a little twang and
Yeah.
they go to this country concert.
It's like adult cosplay. Yeah.
Are you struggling with
Interesting.
those two words
I am,
together?
yeah.
Cosplay?
I can tell.
Cosplay.
Anyways, but I thought the late night booty call for Michelle, I mean, and him saying that they did have sex was like a little jarring for me.
And then that he started thinking that the Kristen thing was true.
About
after
Michelle
them.
sleeping or like sending sexy pics.
Oh,
That's what she's saying.
I wonder who Michelle, because isn't the rumor is that she's been talking to like some kind of like some
Yeah.
actor or
There's a specific
some-
name that people are throwing
a
around,
big
but I don't know
name.
if we can say it.
It's a big name.
Do you know who
Do
it
you
is?
know?
Really?
That's who they're
no,
all saying.
that's no. That's who.
Michelle.
Yeah, but that's who they were saying she was going to Chateau Marmont. This isn't the same person that she was like sending sexy
Oh.
pictures to.
Okay.
Two different people.
So
To clear
wait,
that up.
is who?
They're like could be
Alleged.
client that she was like going to Chateau Marmont. And like, remember a few episodes ago,
Yeah,
Jesse
yeah.
was like, "This is how we whatever."
Like flirt with them,
He
like
was-
drop your
he
pants
was-
or whatever it was.
It was like go to. She goes to Chateau Marmont and they talk about whatever, and they get coffee dates, and they.
And Jesse's down with this?
I guess for
he
the
said
biz,
that's how
for
we
the-
like
for
work
the
with our clients
business.
differently.
Oh my God. So it's like a whole gray area.
That's where
of-
he keeps drawing the line where he's like, well, like that's just how we work. Like, were you texting him or were you sending sexy pics?
Yeah, but if we were, let's say,
But
now-
again, I think I think it's two different people.
It might be. It might be.
Nevertheless.
Yeah.
But that's still, Nellie and I work together now. And let's say, obviously, booking great guests like Genesis is part of the success of the show. And if we, let's say, I'd love to get on this show. And like, I couldn't imagine sending my wife to have coffee to talk about coming on the show. But but the way Jesse's talking about it is this, it's like, hey man, like business is business. It's like he's giving a very
Pimping her out.
pimping her out
Yeah.
kind of vibe, which is
Yeah, kind of gross.
gross.
He's always sexualized her in front of the camera, which is interesting.
Yeah.
He does do that a lot.
Yeah. Yuck.
But
But
I
we don't
think
know if it is even. It's all.
They bleeped
alleged.
his name in the actual episode, so we don't know if that's actually confirmed.
Did you get like in the bleep like did we catch any?
I
of the
think they
end?
blur the mouth.
They did,
too.
but there's like
Yeah.
mouth readers and I don't know.
People go crazy. These internets, yeah.
I think really the only other thing to take away from this episode is the Nia and Danny like blow up of it all, which was really just him getting shit-faced drunk and like
Yeah. We obviously had him on last week. I think Danny is a good guy. I really do. And obviously he made the mistake and he came on here and apologized and he was absolutely shit-faced. But like he seems like he doesn't belong on the show. And I say that as like a compliment to like he just really seems like a sensitive, good guy who really genuinely wants to be a good husband and a father, where
Yeah.
these other guys don't. Like they don't. They seem like they're not that interested. They seem interested in being good TV stars.
Yeah, I worry that them being on this show could ruin something really good.
Yeah.
And
No,
I don't
I
want that
think-
to happen to them.
Yeah, they seem
They have
very
such a beautiful
sweet.
family. Yeah.
I think they did him
Yeah.
wrong by naming it Dark Side Danny.
The whole episode. Yeah. The episode name.
No, I know. I think yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's just like the
It
guy
wasn't
got
a dark side. He was
he
just
got
drunk.
a little drunk. Was it
Yeah.
even like I didn't?
It was nothing worse than anything Jax or Jesse did on this episode.
Truly.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
he was just messy. Like he was
drunk.
messy and
He was a little
emotional.
snappy with his wife, and she held him accountable, and she was like, "Are you gonna really talk to me that way?" And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "I'm tired." She's like, "Go to bed." He's like, "I'm going to bed."
Yeah, that
He was all mumbly.
It was
like,
a very.
It wasn't that bad.
Pretty
It really was not
harmless.
that bad.
Yeah, if that's the worst Danny Darko does, then he is in fact a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny having him on here last week where he was like, yeah, Jax got me on the show. And without actually saying it, he didn't, well, we're always hard on Jax. And he didn't correct us like at all. He talked about how like they were friends and that's how he got on the show. But it doesn't seem like they're still like it's like he now knows who Jax is. And now he's just like a reluctant colleague.
He said he wants to check in on him, but he hasn't had a chance. That's what he
Hasn't had
said.
a chance.
Ooh.
Now it sounds like Lala.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hasn't had a chance.
Hasn't had a chance.
Send a
Maybe he'll swing by,
Yeah.
I think another interesting thing that happened in this episode was at the very end when Jax is talking to the guys about, are him and Brittany going to get divorced? Are they going to get separated? They said, would you let her leave if she wanted to leave? And he said, no, she would never leave. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, can you hold someone hostage in a relationship?
No, and I'm not in the business
No.
of defending Jax Taylor, but I know the question was, would you let her leave? But his answer wasn't, I'm not going to stop her. It was the continued delusion of denial that she would never do it. So
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Jax
Yeah.
wasn't like, I'm going to stop her. It was just him continuing to be delusional and denying the possibility that she would even do that. So I think it's, of course, no, he can't stop her.
Yeah.
And clearly, she has
And-
gotten Airbnb
yeah.
and moved out.
And clearly she hasn't.
He
They're
didn't
dating
stop
other
her.
people.
Yeah.
I am curious about them dating other people and when we're going to start getting glimpses of their opinions of the people that they're dating.
I'm excited to talk about this with Kristen because I feel like she'll have a lot of.
Inside.
I feel like there's a
Insights.
lot of Brittany and Jax fallout that we're not having the pleasure of seeing.
But I do think it's really absolutely hilarious that Jax obviously called paparazzi for his date with this new model girl, and she picked him up at his house in a limousine, and they went to Granville on Ventura.
I love that place.
Okay, but it's
yeah.
like for a limousine.
Right.
It's like the Chili's of Valley.
It's giving high school prom.
Yeah, it's literally. And like
Chili's of the Valley.
and like a limousine, and she's like wearing a jumpsuit, which like love a jumpsuit, like workout jumpsuit, but like you're in a limousine.
Wait, she picked him up?
Yes.
Okay,
Also, like
flex.
I didn't think that limousines were still like in vogue ever since like
They're
the Uber,
not.
ever since the Uber black car or the Cadillac
Or
SUV or Cybertruck. Like a limousine's kind of like a time portal. It's something
yeah, like,
like
you have to call a service. Like,
I didn't think it still like is prom still? It's like
Well, that's what it says high school prom.
it's
yeah.
prom.
And like I wonder what Jax's reation was when she's like, "Hey, I'm here." He comes out and
And
it's
it's
a
a limo.
limousine.
He's like, I don't see you.
God, I just think that's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So why is it New Jersey Housewives having a reunion?
I think it's the well, the rumor is I think it's the
Yeah,
step
so-
of a reboot.
Well, so an insider said a reunion is meant to have resolution, and it's clear in this season.
Lisa Vanderpump reminded us at the reunion.
Yes, that you need like a resolution for a reunion to happen. So the insider said a season finale that there is no path forward in that type of setting. So the network is figuring out a different concept to wrap up the season. This follows Real Housewives of New York season 13. They didn't have a reunion, and then they recasted the whole cast. And that's where we like got rid of the legacy cast.
Interesting.
So now people are
Wow.
thinking that like following that situation, that this is just a sign that bye-bye.
Do you think it's possible? Because I think you're right. I'm curious if the OG cast, like the Melissas and the Teresas and all of the cast, I got to assume that the reason that they're still like, holding their ground and being willing to not do this, all while the network is literally threatening their jobs, is I'm guessing they're banking on like, for example, the Melissas and the Teresas, they're blanking at the network choosing them and keeping them and letting the other one go.
Yeah.
Correct.
And they're banking on that. So which one do you think the network's going to choose, Teresa, or do you think the network's going to choose Melissa?
I kind of feel like they might not choose either of them. Because like
that's a possibility.
Now they're becoming more of like a financial liability. Because with BravoCon, they had to do 2 separate panels 2 years in a row, and now they can't film scenes together, so now they're canceling a reunion.
Yeah,
which is easy to be like filmed.
And think about the money or the monetary thing. Like the reunions are almost always a 2-parter, often 3. And to your point, they're the cheapest show to make. You know, these get a room, get Andy, and ask a bunch of questions.
My personal favorite.
Yeah, and so for the network to forego that, they're giving up. That's costing them a lot of money. So they're not making that decision lightly. So
yeah,
you know, it's kind of fascinating. But like they might both be without a job, and I can't imagine. The more I like these housewives, a lot of them, especially the OGs, are making
a lot
bank.
Yeah. Well, Teresa's now the longest standing housewife because Candy left.
Yeah.
So
even back to like I don't know what Ariana makes, but my understanding from people I've talked to or people in the know is that despite all of Ariana's success of like the brand deals and things like that, or something about her opening up or her time in Chicago, specifically Chicago, because like from a prestige standpoint, like her doing Chicago, amazing. Like could probably even open up a lot more doors. It legitimizes her as an entertainer in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But my understanding is she is making pennies on the dollar compared to what she makes on Vanderpump. So like imagine like I'm just making up numbers here, but like what if she's making close to $1 million a season on Vanderpump, but only making 100,000 doing Chicago? Like that really becomes a choice.
Yeah.
When you have to figure out like which one you do, and it's like easy for us to say like, it's time for Ariana to move on, but much harder when
it's your decision to make.
When that paycheck is
the checks are checking.
The checks are checking, and that that 6 figure is like inching towards 7 figures. And once you give that up, it's a lot of other jobs you got to do to make up that nut.
I will say too, New Jersey, there's reports that this is their lowest like season for views. So that's part of why people think they might just recast because they're not like getting as many people involved fan base wise.
I guess. I mean, when your biggest
I guess
story,
people are over it too. They're over this. You have to choose a side. I think Bravo had to choose a side a long time ago.
Yeah,
because it went past the point of enjoyment to see this family rift. It just got old.
Well, when your biggest
got involved,
when your biggest storyline is one that they're unable to give you or record, then it's like every week I watch this, I'm hoping to see Melissa and Teresa have some kind of conversation or fight, and now they're fighting through other people and creating new fights that ultimately stem back between whose side are you on, Melissa or Teresa's?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that. But I'm just more fascinated on like who's going to regret their decision to not do this
out of the two.
Yeah, or both. And to your point, maybe both of them. Maybe just like Bravo's is like, fuck it, we're not going to reward either of you.
Dude, but like we're talking about, that's a nice paycheck. Like get your shit together, people, and figure it out and fight it out or leave.
Yeah,
it's a nice paycheck you're kissing away.
And that's the thing, they're still willing to be petty and talk shit, just do it to each other's faces. Like you're not it's not like it's improving their mental health or anything. They're still
involved in the drama.
They're still involved in the drama.
Yeah.
They're still not talking to their family. They still are talking shit and hearing each other's family members doing it. So just
well, even the bougie kids dinner with Danielle this episode, they're sitting at the same table but like not looking at each other. So it's like, okay, well, if you're gonna sit down here, like say something.
That fight between Rachel and Teresa was crazy.
I thought my favorite line was the conversation between Melissa and who was
Rachel Fuda.
Rachel, where Rachel is just like, I tried not to spread the rumor. And what did she? I forgot exactly how she said it, but it was like, I tried not to, and I'm like, wait, how do you try not to spread a rumor? Like, you either don't or you do,
Yeah.
Either you're like, no, I'm sorry, I know, I'm a vault, but like, if you can come up with an excuse as to why you had to share it, then like, yeah, just own it. You spread the rumor. Like, you can always come up with an excuse as why it's like, oh, I tried. I just thought it was hilarious. And then when people say that, they say it with such sincerity. I tried so hard. I really did. Like, I was forced to. It's like,
just say sorry.
Just to say that you ran your mouth and you talk some shit and you spread the rumor. It's kind of hilarious, but yeah.
I agree.
What was that? What was it? Gia Teresa's daughter?
Gia Giudice.
Yeah.
What was she talking about when she was saying how everyone's on like talking to the blogs?
Yeah, so she went on a live and she said all of them talk to bloggers. They're all guilty. You'll see during the season some of the housewives literally had bloggers at their events. So I think even like Bravo's like we're losing control of everything because now everybody is friends with the bloggers and they're like leaking information.
And when she says bloggers, who is she referring to? Like reality the reality Von Teeses of the world?
I'm assuming it's like fan accounts, but also like the Housewives is famous for having like housewives being friends with like Radar Online or like actual like news sources in the reality world.
Yeah.
So they can control narratives. So I'm assuming that's what she's alluding to.
Yeah.
So
I believe
it.
Yes, I believe that they absolutely do that. Yeah. Keep your, enemies closer kind of thing.
But I could see why that makes Bravo resent them. Because it's like Bravo, like, we're going to air a show that now you're all leaking to the press before it even happens.
I don't know. I just feel like nowadays, I think that's lazy producing.
Right, because everybody has a podcast. Everybody has their own platform, Yeah,
I personally love the after shows. Like, and like as a show that covers these after shows, we could just as easily be like, oh, I wish they don't have the after shows because so much what we want to talk about, they're already talking about. But I'm just more like, well, let's just watch the after shows, and like what they talk about on the after shows actually gives us more to discuss, and then we can actually get their opinions of it, and like that's just the world that they are making TV in now in 2024. And like I always like really good reality TV producers are good at one thing, and that is adapting and to the environment that they're working with, and like reacting to new information, and just being ready to like change course regardless of where the story goes. That to me is the best. That's when reality producers are on their A game, that's what they're doing. It's not complaining that they're losing control of the story, because that there's no such thing in the reality TV space. The story can kind of go anywhere. And like it is kind of annoying to like if all we were doing is watching these shows like it was 2014 again, and having to pretend that like Bravo World started and stopped when they recorded these episodes, as if like and then 6 months go by between they filmed a scene and we have to act like it's 6 months ago. It'd be kind of annoying. So I'm glad we have a little bit of both. I just like wish they would kind of work in unison. I love when the reality TV stars like talk about the drama and like the show outside of the show.
It's like foreshadowing a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with the after shows. Like I agree with you. It reveals so much. They're so much more shady, and they're usually paired with somebody they're super comfortable with, so they talk a lot more, and you get their real feelings. I'm sure that in person, when they're going through it, they don't want to fight, or they're trying to avoid a fight, or, just get along. And then here you get to see them after they processed and react to what they were really feeling.
Yeah. So I love it. So, and I just think producers,
I love it too.
I think they're just lazy producers if they're complaining about losing control of the story. But I can see how it makes their job harder. But it is the world we live in. So,
but yeah, with the Teresa and the Melissa, like, should I even ask the question? Like, have you guys chosen a side with this? Or
I'm Team Melissa.
Are we past that? You're Melissa.
I just feel like at the end of the day, Teresa always had a problem with Melissa. She married, she's married to Teresa's brother. It's like, it's one thing not to like the girl your brother's dating, but now that they're married, they've been married for years, they have kids together. All the drama seems to stem from that. I'm sure Melissa's had her moments where she maybe like her reaction to Teresa's behavior, but at the end of the day, it kind of all stems from this. And it's, I guess my question to anyone who's Team Teresa is, what is Melissa supposed to do at this point to mend fences? Because it seems like she kind of has tried in the past.
Also, if you notice, Teresa in the confessional, she never says Melissa. She says my sister-in-law. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just wondering what Melissa, if your team...
I mean, that's just like Ariana saying my ex and not saying Tom.
But I'm just more like, if your team, Teresa, what could have Melissa done differently from the beginning to solve this? And I'm recognizing that I'm sure Melissa has made mistakes. But again, if this all stems from Teresa originally having a problem with her dating Joe's brother, has Teresa ever come around and apologized to Melissa and said, hey, you know, when you first started dating my brother, I said some things and I did a lot of things, but now I accept you as part of the family. Has that ever happened where then Melissa then didn't accept that apology and then continued to like make digs at Teresa? Did that happen?
I think it has more, personally, I think it had more to do with the show that Melissa tried to get on the show and take like Teresa's spotlight. That is where
Season
the problem
3
started. Not so much like her dating her brother. And I think there's never been an admission of that. It's always been like, oh, the producer sought me out, not that I went and tried to come on your show. And she's never given her that credit, that weigh in, I guess.
If you're Team Teresa, you almost owe Teresa like the credit for being the OG housewife and like getting her on the show. And like almost like paying tribute.
What she wants.
Yeah, like almost
ultimately.
Like paying your respects, almost like she's the godfather.
Exactly. She's the ultimate Italian. You know what I mean? She wants the respect and the recognition that she got her this job and the whole thing, and she's never gotten that from Melissa. That's what I think. That's
a good argument.
A lot of our comments do agree with your sentiment, though, that throughout the history, Teresa's the one that throws a lot more jabs. Like she's fueled the fire of the drama.
I don't agree with Teresa, but it makes me understand Teresa's point better if that is like she wants the respect. Yeah, that makes sense.
She got her the job and then she wanted to try her singing career, and it was all because of Teresa, you know? And that, I think that's where the problem
sucks because you can never like,
I think get over it.
You can never come back from that in Teresa's eyes, you know? Like she's always going to lose.
But is it almost, I guess if you're Melissa, just to play devil's advocate, are you afraid to give Teresa that credit because it's almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't? If you give Teresa that credit, then Teresa's going to turn around and be like, see, you're not here to be genuine. You just wanted to be on the show. For the cameras. And then she's going to throw that in her face.
True,
like what is some, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think at a certain point though, like Melissa's a cast member. She's part of the show now.
You
know,
like
for a while. Yeah,
like
that's
so
it.
Many years now.
So many years.
When is she ever gonna like, you know, be able to be her own?
Well,
I
think Teresa can hold a grudge.
Clearly,
yeah, that's for sure.
Well, no reunion.
That woman
so we
can
know.
hold a grudge.
Yeah, and she's like the matriarch of the franchise, so I can see how if she doesn't feel like she's respected, she's never gonna give respect back.
It'll be a sad day if we don't see Teresa on our screens anymore, really. I'll be very upset. I mean, she changed the game.
She's the Kristen Doty of Housewives. When you said that the other day, I was like, that's true. Because we love her for being problematic.
Yeah.
Or like short-fused.
How do we think Rachel's going to be able to come back from what she said to Teresa in this fight where she said, you went to prison as a grown-ass woman and what have you done? Like, how do we think Teresa's going to retaliate to that?
Oh, she's going to do something. So I feel like she's going to bring up some kind of boondock, like tea on something Rachel did when she was in middle school and then like use it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's going to be...
Bring another hairstylist in, sit them down.
Yeah.
I love Rachel, so...
Yeah, I don't really have I don't know what she's going to do. There's going to be something.
I don't think anyone can predict. We'll just have to see.
Well, I think that kind of wraps it up. Genesis, this has been so much fun.
Thank you guys so much. Truly, I've always wanted to talk Bravo things. And I remember last year when the Scandal was happening, I think it was around the same time that we were going through a strike. So I had so much more time to dedicate to Scandal and like unpack everything. And your podcast was the one that like I couldn't wait to hear with Katie and Kristen. And it's just, thank you for having me because I feel so useful.
Oh, thank you for saying.
You are so useful.
We would absolutely love to have you back. When you're back in town, we'll have to have you come in studio and break down some Bravo with us in the future.
Awesome. Sounds great,
so
you guys.
Much fun.
Thank you.
Please, and anything else, where can people follow you? Anything else you want to promote or throw out there?
Lioness season 2 will come out. I have no idea, but it's going to be a great season. And you can follow me on Instagram at GENI Rodriguez. And nothing. You can comment me Bravo things. I love it. Please
Amazing.
send it my way.
Awesome. Genesis, thanks so much for coming on. So much fun. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That does it for us. We want to thank Genesis again for coming on. So much fun talking with her. We will be back on Thursday with Kristen Doty. You will not want to miss it. It's going to be so much fun. Also, Brianna Chicken Fry also joins us for Going Deeper. Catch up with her, get a little tea on maybe her boyfriend, who we saw in concert last night. And we'll be re-releasing the Lindsay Hubbard episode this Wednesday. A lot to get into. We'll see you then. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.